Today, I wanted to talk about if men or girls have it harder, at least when they're working. Because I've worked a lot of jobs, and I've just switched around and I've met a lot of people and I've compared their experiences back and forth and all of that. And I've had all this knowledge, all of it just stocked up. And I've decided that, you know what? I think I make a pretty good case as to who has it harder and who has it easier. There's many things to consider, so let's get right into that one. Now, starting off with, of course, one might say, I'm biased because look at me, I'm a dude, but whatever. I can still speak about what I've seen and what all of these other differences are. When you're working, you have to take into consideration three things in my mind: the customers, the work itself, and your coworkers. That's what I think makes up, your job. You have to take into consideration what the people are that you're dealing with, the work itself, and I'm not flipping you off, and of course, who you're gonna be working with. All of these things just culminate and they mix and they become the job itself that you're gonna be doing. Now let's start off with number one, the customers. The customers, Jesus. Now the customers can make or break a job. It is what it is, because you can be dealing with the most headache-inducing idiots, and being in customer service, at least I've had a lot of customer service once, and you just encounter just the most mentally challenged people on the face of the earth. You cannot find anybody who just, if they tried, they still can't compete with these people. The rudeness, the ineptitude, the stupidity, all these, see that? All of that just merges and just makes your day shit. It all merges and then you just have a terrible day. Here it is. Now, I've had this happen just a couple of times where this crazy person comes in and then they start screaming over whatever happened. Let's say their filing got wrong, or their order was wrong, or some mistake, and they lose their mind and they start screaming. They start pointing at you individually and they're saying, you did this is all on you, and you're just an idiot because you work here, so it means it was your problem, not me. No, not me, the customer. It's your problem because you made the mistake. They can't fathom that they're just in the wrong, so you have to be professional and take it as is. But who would handle it better? A woman? Or just imagine you're just a girl and this crazy ass dude this crazy man, this massive dude is losing his mind over something you have no control over, and something that you don't even know what he's talking about, but regardless, he's choosing you and he's just focusing on you, and he's yelling at you, he's cursing you out, he's throwing things around. Or well, let's not take it that far, but still, I've seen that happen already. And what are you gonna do? So many girls I've seen bawling their eyes out. They start crying as they're like trying to be stoic. They just like that. and these poor girls, they lose their minds. They just can't do anything about that. I've seen a lot of dudes just receive all of it straight to their face, and they're just there. They're just unfazed. They come to the back afterwards and then they laugh about it. Because there's security in this. There's so many differences. Because if you're a girl, let's say you're 17 and you're working as a waiter in Chili's or something, and then the order is brought out and then they say it's wrong. The guy starts telling you he's allergic to this, blah-de-da-de-da, starts making a big deal out of it, stands up off his chair, looks down at you, and then starts saying that you put his life in danger, and starts losing his mind, starts cursing at you. You're just a 16-year-old girl, or 17, whatever the hell, you're still just a teenager, and this massive man is just yelling at you straight to your face. I'd be frightened. I would be horrified at that notion. But if you're like this 20-year-old dude and this 40-year-old man is yelling at you, you know what? You can just looking down at him, be like, what are you talking about? Why are you yelling at me? Let's be civilized. Be like, yo, calm down. What are you trying to do? That has happened so many times. So many times. You know, it's happened so many times. Or some homeless man walks in, some homeless women come in, and then they start making a big deal out of it. You know who comes out? It has to be the dude. It has to be that. Because at the end of the day, you know, I'm not sending out one of my poor teenage girls out there and to deal with this crazy ass customer. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. She's gonna come back. She's gonna go into the walk-in and start crying about what just happened and probably quit. I'm not gonna see her after that. In reality, that'll be the last time I see her if I send her out. But if I go, I deal with it. Blah blah blah. Kick the man out. It's over. All right, whatever. We carry on. She's probably gonna be a bit shaken up, but regardless, we move on. That is a difference that you just cannot oversee because it happens a lot. It happens a lot. Girls at times have to work out late. They go to work and they, you know, it's server jobs, or let's say they stayed into the office a bit too late and they leave and it's dark outside. A lot of these places are in just horrible streets, terrible places. And there's homeless people running around, there's vagabonds, there's teenage kids that don't have any parents that are watching over them. And so they go and then they harass these girls, and then now they're having a horrible time. So then they ask somebody to, you know, all girls go in groups, park close to each other, blah blah blah, or they send somebody to escort her or to bring her car closer to the entrance. Something like that. Those are things that you cannot oversee. So in that aspect, in the aspect of dealing with customers, men or boys, you know, there's a lot of teenage dudes that get jobs pretty early. They have it way easier. And I know they're gonna be saying, how could you be this sexist? So that's reality. Who cares? What? What are you talking about? That's the way it is. And so that is what I believe. There's so many other jobs though. There's so many other jobs, because if you're dealing in customer service and you get a waiter, you know, the guy has to be good at his job. You know, he's gonna be a boom, 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 whatever. All right, done. He goes. If I get this guy and he comes, takes my order, and he's like, oh no, I messed up. So sorry. I'm not gonna be like, oh, look at this cute guy. No. I'm gonna be like, look at this idiot. You can't get your stuff together. What are you doing? No, but if I get a girl and she messes up and then she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 and she's clumsy about it, I'm gonna forgive her. That's just the way it is. I don't care. She can be clumsy, she can be messing up, whatever. It's kind of cute. It has its charm. But with a dude, it's kind of harder to do that. There has been scientifically proven. My God, look at these words. It has been proven by numerous tests that women do make more tips as servers. They are preferred if they're like an assistant or a secretary or any of that, or like a receptionist. They are preferred over those. You know, because, you know, a lot of people just don't want just this sleazy bastard to take their food while you're out on a date with a girl. You don't want that. Or you don't want to be entering an office and then you're received by this bloke. No. You want just some pleasant, well put together girl. And that's okay. That's perfectly alright. Still, people prefer the girl for the customers, but who deals with it best? When everything goes sideways and people just start turning on the place, then you want some dudes in there. So, you know, you have to look at both sides on that one. Now, the next one on my list, we already have the customers down. Who is next? Ooh, that's right, the actual job itself. It's exactly that. Because if you have a job, and there's a lot of them that just straight up just don't want you if you're like a girl, or they don't want you if you're a dude, And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I've worked landscaping, been one of my very first jobs, and I've worked dishwashing. I've worked so many other jobs, and I will not picture a girl doing landscaping at all. I had nobody. I asked the chef of the place. I asked numerous people. They were like, "Has a girl ever applied for dishwasher in this place?" No. Never. One girl came and applied one time, tried it, left immediately. And that's just the way it goes. Now there's a lot of other places that just straight up just don't want you if you're a guy, and that's okay. That's entirely okay. Those are more kind of laid back-ish, but here's the problem with those. When you just laid back, and those are more like dealing with people, or you're like babysitting. You've never met a dude that said, "Oh yeah, I babysat in high school." What? No, what the hell? Nobody has said that ever. Never. But you've seen a lot of girls say that. Why? Nah, that's just because we all think that girls handle kids better. And that's okay. That's just it is what it is, honestly. It is what it is. But the thing is, here's the twist in those. Because nobody wants to wash 400 dishes in 2 hours. The pay is quite good. I know a lot of people say that dishwashers are not liked and underpaid and treated horribly. From my experience, I've lived in 3 states, and I've seen the pay for dishwashers in them. They've been $4-5 above minimum wage for washing dishes on that one. And you just come in at 4, leave at closing time, and boom. So they are quite handy because nobody wants to do those jobs, the men jobs or whatever the hell. The pay is just immaculate. It's just perfect. Construction worker jobs, the pay is beautiful because robots cannot do that job just yet. Not yet. Soon. But for a lot of the cozier, more more not physically demanding jobs, there you go, that are most likely taken by a lot of teenage girls or a lot of younger women, is that the pay is just not that good. I know a lot of women were fighting over a secretary job or an assistant job at this firm or this office that I think I saw one time, and the pay was just 25 cents above the minimum wage. I mean, they treat these girls horribly. And I know one can say, you don't really do anything at the job. The job is so simple. The hours are nice. It's not demanding. Whatever the hell. No, pay me. What are you talking about? You think it's just because they're spending their time and effort, and the effort is not just breaking your back? You shouldn't be paid a lot? No. And I mean, maybe that's just my opinion because most jobs are handled like that, but whatever. What do I know? I'm not hiring people. I'm the hired. My God. Can you tell it's another day? I forgot to finish it. I had a whole third point and then I spaced out. I got hungry. Regardless, let's continue. Now, point number 3 as to who actually has it harder. Co-workers. Men fiend. They fiend for when there's an attractive girl in their workplace. They fiend for that. There's numerous times. Hell, even in school, you can ask a lot of guys in school as well. They'll say that they have a class that they hate. They despise that class, math class or whatever the hell. And then once they see that there's a girl that they like, they love that class. They will look forward to that class just off the rip. And they will keep on loving it. They will keep going. That translates perfectly onto workplace as well. You see that all the time. Guys will go and then they'll look happily, just keeping going over and over to get that shift with that one girl that they like. And vice versa as well. I've asked this to numerous girls. I know this may come as a surprise to a lot of guys. Girls look forward to talking to guys too. It sounds odd to say, but it's the reality of it all. We all look forward to working with each other. The co-workers can make or break a place. A job that has only dudes and it has one girl, one of the dudes or like a lot of the dudes will look forward to interacting with her because that's just the way it goes. It is what it is. And so far as well, I've noticed that it happens the other way around. When they have that one token dude and the girls will look forward to working with him. If they're the same age, well, let's hope. That is the way it's supposed to be, and I kind of agree with that one. Now, a lot of the times, dudes seem to get the wrong signals more often than not. And what I mean by that is that they may think that a girl is flirting with them, a coworker specifically, and they misunderstand the signals. The girl will not send any signals at all, but the guy will understand that she wants him. She's like, no. Trust. She wants me, man. And they will go and chase after that, and now he will ruin that. He will have ruined it because the girl just never sent any signals in her mind. In her mind, she never sent any signals, and now, well, there's that awkward tension. Now there's gonna be that awkward, and he's gonna have some resentment for that, and then she's gonna be like avoidant about it, and she's gonna be like, well, now I think he's a creep, and I don't want to be alone with him working. That's just what it is. That is why they discourage all of that things when you talk to HR or anything. They're like, no romance. Please, for love of God, stop flirting with each other. But hey, man, what do you want us to do? If there's multiple people that are single, it's gonna happen. It is what it is. You can't stop it. Who's gonna stop me? What? This is gonna sound horribly. But in reality, it's mostly the goofy person is the dudes. The boys are the goofy part of a job. And when you're doing some grueling work, when you're just dying and you need some morale boost, the dude is right there and he's just happy and makes you laugh, and boom, you feel great, and you guys can all get along. That's great. Now, for a lot of the girls, when you're just having some stressful day, you've been having a terrible week, and you're just down on your luck, and now you have to come into this horrible shift. You know who makes you feel better? Not the dude, because if he asks you how you're doing, you know what the other guy's gonna say? I am doing just fine. I am perfect. Imagine the best day of your life, multiply it times 3. That is how my day is going. But if girls pick up more on that, they have a more keen sense for the sort of things. I know a lot of the times some dudes have just come and they feel terrible, and they let me know, hey, I'm doing all right. But then they go into the back, they talk to this girl, and then they unload on her, and she's digging him out of her. She's like digging into him and just ripping all of that out. And she's like, tell me, what's wrong with you? And he lets her know. He says, you know what? My dad fell ill. I have to pay these hospital bills. I have to go to college. I have to do all of these things. And my car recently stopped working. And there's a lot of stuff. You know who comforts him very well? It will be the girl. And that's what you need. That's what you need at times. Some free therapy that I'm not gonna pay for. So that is just a thank you. Just a thank you to all the girls that have to endure all of that. And to all the guys that make every day just consistently, they ease the tension, they make you a bit happier, and they help you out just by being great. Boys do that as well. We all have our differences in that one. And I've noticed that you kind of need a balance on a lot of them. You have to fit the right balance though, because if you have an equal amount of boys and girls and they're all around the same age, no, that is disaster. No, thank you. No. You have to have some power balance here, because else it's just gonna be, and you don't want that in your workplace. Just a bunch of no. Nobody wants that. Now that concludes the differences for what I think is my third one. The third one right there of who has it harder. Girls have to deal with all of that. They have to deal with guys coming here and just telling them all of their feelings and all of that. And It can either go about two ways. The guy can be creepy, and now it'll be all ruined, or the guy could be quite alright, and they will hit it off, and they will date, and so far and so forth. But then after that, most likely they will break up. But that's okay. That's just the way it goes, honestly. And then for guys, you can have that as well. You can have that he goes and then he looks forward to working with this girl, but then she denies you, and now you're just feeling awkward, and you must have misunderstood because you felt like you had something there. Now, out of those 3 points, who actually had it way harder, specifically in the workplace? You know, girls have limited jobs, and then dudes also have limited jobs, but the jobs that are limited to dudes, you know, the pay is not that enticing. For girls, the pay is quite enticing for being a dude. But I don't want to be doing construction work or being out there in the sun and doing some grueling work. So then let's look at the customer one. The girls just immediately lose on that one, except that they are preferred when they get tips, when they get more leniency when they make mistakes, specifically from customers. They get all of these things. Does that make up for when some things just go completely wrong and the customer starts yelling at this poor girl and now she feels in danger? Does it make up for it? I don't know. It's kind of really hard to say. It's really hard to say because I like the confidence that if anything were to go wrong, I can just say, well, what are you gonna do? Ooh, what's all this yelling and throwing stuff for? What's gonna happen now? You're not gonna beat me up. For example here, I once had this girl come up to the shop. I was working, I believe I was making coffee. That's what I was doing. I was making coffee, and then she comes up, I take her order, whatever the hell, I make it, blah-de-da, easy. And then she starts talking, whatever. It's a nice conversation, nothing crazy, just asking about random stuff. And then she says, all right, goodbye. Next day, same thing. She arrives, I already recognize her, of course. You know, you have to memorize your regulars. And she comes and then asks me if I'm gonna be free after work. And I'm like, oh no, I have to go to the gym. I have to go with my brother or whatever, something. And then she says, oh, okay, is it alright if I just wait, like, by your car? You know, this took me aback a bit. So I'm like, no, you know, because I just kind of hurry on to my car, and it's in the middle of a huge parking lot. And then she said, oh no, you get out at like 7, no? What are you talking about? Why did she know my clock out time and the time I had to go home? How did she know that? Now my head started working. Now I'm like, wait a minute. She might know where my car is. She might know what I drive. And she might actually wait for me. So now I'm like, well, no, I'm alright. And she took the L and went about her day. Was I scared of going to my car? No, one bit. Not one bit. I walked slowly to that bad boy, popped it in, boom, pow, and then drove away like nothing. And you know, I changed that. I kind of flipped that scenario on its head, and I was wondering, wait a minute, if I was a girl and some dude came and did that to me, I would be absolutely shooting out number 2 straight from my pants. I would be panicking. I'd be crying. I would be telling everybody in the shop to please somebody come with me. Anything at all, because that is actually so scary. But as a dude, I'm not worried. Of course, I know that women can wield weapons. I know she could have just a straight, just a massive 9mm, and she could just do whatever, right? Because I can't, as much as I hate to admit, I can't eat a full mag unloaded on me. I can't eat that. I have that security. A lot of girls don't have that security. But when I make a mistake, I don't have the security that I'm gonna be like, can we just overlook this? No, they're gonna point it out. They're gonna say, you filed this wrong. What's up with you? What's up with this? I'm gonna have to report this, and now I'm just kind of screwed. So at times you have to take, and you have to give. Now for the third one of coworkers, girls have their therapy sessions that they have to do. They have to deal with all of that sort of stuff. They have to deal with guys misunderstanding, just working with them all the time, and now that they're thinking that they like them. Who in reality has it harder? I don't know. I'm gonna leave that up to you because I have no idea. I like it. I like being a dude and working all these separate jobs. There's definitely some that I prefer over the others, and there's some that I would prefer being a girl over. But you just have to pick what you're good at, and I feel like there's some beauty in that. There's something beautiful. Now that is it for that video. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. Oh my god, I am so close to 100 subscribers. I've reached I'm scratching her. I'm like, I'm right there. So just help me out on that one if you would. I would greatly appreciate it. See you on the next one.